This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning. Welcome to the July OCP server project meeting. Looks like we've got 19 people here, so we think we have enough critical mass to go ahead and get started. First off, the announcement we have that CMAC has been elected as the new server project IC. CMAC, are you online? Do you want to introduce yourself? I'm sure everybody here already knows you, but go ahead and give you a chance there. You're on mute, CMAC, if you're talking. Oh, I'm having a hard time seeing participants. I was pretty sure you were on. Well, looks like CMAC is not on yet. Okay. He was on a previous call we just got off of, so maybe he had something to do before he started joining this call.
He just joined.
Ah, there you are.
Yeah.
First off, while CMAC gets audio going, hi, good morning, CMAC. Just starting off the meeting and announcing that you're our new IC representative.
At your service. Very good to be back.
Yeah, so for those who aren't aware, CMAC was the co-lead on the server project until he moved over from Microsoft to Google. So now he's back as the IC representative. So welcome back. Like to thank Gia for his service as a IC rep over the last 2 years. Gia, you want to say anything on this?
Yeah, you're welcome. I want to take quick notes to share my thoughts with the server community. Thank you everyone for your support, and I'm glad to engage with the community in the past 2 years in IC role. I was planning running for re-election, and during the process, I took some time to look at the whole community. I noticed CMAC is doing pitching some very potential initiative. So I think he will be a strong player to represent his company and also more important in this community. So I'm nominating CMAC as the next IC. I want to support him and the community to achieve great things in the next 2 years. So this is what I want to share. Yeah, again, thank you everyone, and congrats, CMAC.
Thank you very much, Gia, for your endorsement. This is another very good example of how we work well together across the open source community, across companies, and the collaboration that we can enlist from different smart people is what makes OCP successful. Thank you again, John and Gia.
Yes, thank you both. So Global Summit is coming up.
Yeah, John, I quickly wanted to say one quick thing. I want to thank, this is DJ. I'm OCP IC co-chair along with a few others. And I want to thank Ja for his contribution over the last 2 years as a member of OCP IC representing server. He drove the modularity effort and something which now CMAC is going to take over. And we are also pretty excited to have CMAC join the IC and looking forward to working with you, CMAC.
By all means, that's your service.
Yeah. Thanks, Jan. Welcome, CMAC. Welcome back, CMAC, I should say. Have you left? We didn't feel that.
Yeah. All right, we do have the Global Summit coming up November 9th and 10th. We just finished the calls for papers for the engineering tracks. It said as of 7/26 we have 49. I think we're up to 60 now. and we're trying to decide how much room we actually have for tracks. We definitely have less room than we have had in previous years with social distancing and stuff. We're not going to be able to accept anywhere near all 60 tracks. So I'd like to thank everyone for your submissions. We're just now starting the process of going through them and categorizing and see which of those 60 we can accept and who we can make room for. Just saying right up front, there's no way we're going to be able to accept all of the tracks as if way more submissions than we have space for. Still on track for a hybrid event, so we'll be virtual and in person. So we'll see how that works out. I know there's a lot of concern that the virtual attendees won't have the same presence. We're trying to do what we can to mitigate that, but it's going to be an interesting conference. Anyone else have anything they want to say on the OCP Global Summit? All right. Do you have a note here on a future technology initiative? There's a member usage survey with a link in the agenda. If you would please respond to that. We're trying to get more participants. Then we'll move on to our subproject updates. OAM OAI subproject. Whitney?
Sure. Good morning. So I have very few slides. I see we have a full agenda. I will be quickly go through what the group has been working on. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Yeah, we can now, Whitney.
Okay, great. Let me see if I can. Quickly go through. The team has been working on UBB spec 1.1 to 1.5. Like we updated last time that for UBB 2.0, we don't see a need. We don't see a need like even before 2023. So we will push out the UBB 2.0 in sometime in next year, 2022. And then but we do see a need that for the service update to 112 gig. And then also the power go to 700 watt for the UBB itself. So we're gonna introduce 1.5 in between. Hopefully by end of this year, we're gonna have push out the 1.5 spec, and then these are like high level items. What we're gonna do between 1.5 to 1.1 to 1.5. OEM power, like we're gonna. I mean, it's already there. Support up to 700 watt, but 1.1 spec, we were focusing on 500 watt, up to 500 watt. So 1.5, we're gonna push out to 700. And then for the host interface, we will be upgrading to support Gen 5 and Gen 6, and then SerDes up to 112. So SerDes push to 112, it's the main purpose and changes from 1.1 to 1.5. That will trigger the PCB stack up and material change for the reference design, but that's only for reference design. I think the actual design for each UBB, they're gonna need to evaluate the interconnect length and change. So so here listed the key component change in terms of the like OEM connector. We were working with Molex to updating the current mirror-mask connector to connector B, which can support up to 112 gig. And then we were working on select the PCI retimer and also PHY retimer, and also for the scale out. And we were study about the scale out, how we're gonna support 112 gig for the scale out. So this is high level like list. and team is working on it. And then if you have any question, just let us know. Next, it's so OCP OI Experience Center. So if you have anything or interested to showcase any related to OI, please contact us. Currently, Chad from Inspire, Chen from Facebook, and Chuang from WinWin are helping to help the logistics about the OCP Experience Center for both virtual and in-person booths. So let us know. Okay, so this is a quick update for the OAI group. Are any question?
So, hey Whitney, if you go back to slide 2, right? Did
Yes.
you do you have the reference design completed for the UBB 1.1 or no?
Yes, we have a reference design for 1.1.
Okay, but no proto or anything, no POC, right?
So the reference design was from 3 companies, Hive Compute. So from Hive, from Inspire, and also from ZT. So all 3 companies, they actually came out the reference design, and then they are actual working system. They have an OAI reference system. I think they demoed in the past, like a global and regional summit event. They're actually working system.
It was a very good demo. Actually, they took one tray out of one system and plugged it in the other.
Yes.
Created at these.
Okay. So is that information available somewhere? Because it's contribution to OCP, right? Are there any such details somewhere uploaded?
I don't think they contributed the products back to OCP. I can double check. I can share with you the past presentations about the reference design. I think we have slides, and then I can share to you about that.
Okay.
And then, yeah, if you're interested, I mean, there are still members for the OI group, right? We can contact them.
Okay.
Yeah, I know some of the Chinese company, and then for the OEM staffs, they have been using like a 1 or 2 of the reference design for bring up. So it was a good reference design. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you, Whitney.
Thank you.
Next, we have Damien up doing the OCP NIC 3.0 subproject.
John, sorry. One more thing. So like you shared at the beginning, right? The Tianyi already moved to another role. So Pankaj from Google is actually officially our co-lead, working with me together to support this subgroup. So maybe I should also introduce Pankaj here, or let Pankaj to introduce himself.
Yes.
Yeah, Pankaj.
Thank you, Whitney. I'm Pankaj. I'm working at Google. I'm a system architect at Google. I work on GPU-based products. Super excited to be joining the OI subgroup officially. I was working with Whitney on and off last year on some designs and ideas for OCP, but glad to be in the team.
Yes. Welcome, Pankaj.
Welcome, Pankaj.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. Damien?
Yep, I'm up. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Great. Couple things this week. So first of all is like Global Summit and Experience Lab demo. For this round, we do have 4 abstract submission, a little bit lower than expectation, but quality over quantity. And then we also have the several companies that kind of have interest into doing the Experience Lab demo. We already discussed with OCP Foundation. And in this round, we do have Broadcom Hamel that will lead the preparation of the demo for the next station. In the past, we do have Facebook, Intel, and NVIDIA that help this area. I'm glad to see that some other folks within the community that actually help in this area. The demo products, we initially do have some idea. However, there is a new acceptance criteria from OCP Foundation that kind of impacts some of the new technology that intended to be demoed. But I will talk to the community and gather their feedback and see whether this could be an exception or not. But the idea is currently things that demo in the OCP Experience Lab for hardware-wise, it need to met the spec is in contribution database and also present in the OCP marketplace. So some of the new stuff that initially intended to be demo are actually not meeting this criteria. We will see how many are those are in this area, and then we will feedback to OCP Foundation whether this is a hard rule or there's some exception due to technology. I'm not sure whether other work stream or even server group has met the similar limitation. Things that you want to demo are actually impacted by the new criteria here. Okay, I didn't hear anything, so I assume that you're not impacted by this yet, or yeah. If it is also impacting by you, then I think we can talk together with the OCP Foundation and whether there are certain exceptions that can be made. Yeah, so far that's the update from the OCP Global Summit and Experience Lab.
All right, thank you, Damien. Any
Yes.
questions from the OCP, Nick?
No, I mean that is just for the lab. I do have other things.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yep. Yeah, as for mechanical test fixtures, we have sent out 3 sets to different companies. I think Dell, Intel, and Marvell. They are interested to see. So we get some good feedback. Most of them are actually very minor, except one major one, which is an oversight from Facebook. We initially designed this. It's like that we do have a NIC that is internal latch version. So we don't have that sample within Facebook. So we found that Dell actually found that when they plug it in, there's no way to take it out because there's no external hooks like this or even the electrical latch for internal latch. They kind of have to either remove the screw or actually plug in the connector and pull it out. I think that is an oversight from the initial design, and we will change that. And that's one of the reasons why community review is very important, and we will definitely learn from this. So do expect there's a third revision coming up before we publish to the wider community in the wiki. As for the NIC spec, we made an update to the NIC spec. Now it's revision 1.11. Well, once it complete the review, we'll update either to 1.2 or 1.5. This major change is actually on the TOS form factor, which is an alignment that we take many months to align, and finally that we align to one form factor 2.7 millimeter taller than the existing small form factor to support new use cases. So the detail change are actually listed here. I will not go through one by one, but what I want to say is this spec has been set up for public review, including in the reflected of the server group mailing list. Yeah, please take a look and see how it impact your designs. And if you have any feedback, yeah, do let us know through the mail chain. And then as for two work group update, the SI work group, the OCP NIC Gen 5, PCI Gen 5 test fixture has been a little delayed due to some manufacturing issue. The contributor Dell is actually expect this to be resolved next month. And from thermal work group, And as for thermal work group, there are some good progress. NVIDIA and Facebook kind of shared its own pluggable module for discussion. Where should we sense the temperature and monitoring and how the model works? Currently, in actually the same time slot now, Lakshya and Inferno, their model will be in discussion, and the goal is to kind of align where should we monitor the temperature location, because apparently different companies do it differently. This was found when we want to design and spec for the tall form factor. We found this discrepancy between different companies. So, and there's no good way to, and for us to reference where should it be. So the Tone Work Group kickstarted the analysis to align to a common location. And yeah, that's all I have for today.
All right,
Any
thank you,
questions?
Damien. Any other
Thanks.
questions for Damien? All right, next up we have Bappy on the ODSA subproject update.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right. Hey, John. All right, the highlights, we had a light month. In terms of our weekly talks, we had a really good talk from Ravi Mahajan at the IEEE HIR on coordinating naming conventions with chiplets and products. And we spent a lot of time on planning for the OCP Summit. DJ, chip in wherever you'd like to. I think we did a great. I've got the garbage truck at the right time. We got a pretty decent collection of submissions for the OCP Summit on the server track. I think we were at about 20 plus. We have a collection of talks, lots of panels. The talks include original talks and then workstream updates. And we also have this set that isn't officially in the choice set of lightning talks, or really short talks by companies. We're continuing to make good progress on the Bose spec. I feel optimistic. Our target was the end of this month, but I think we're going to slip by a week or two. But we're much closer, and we continue to have new companies joining in the effort. The test chip, we're going to do a dev sprint this Friday for the test chip. The idea is to sort of establish a plan of record for the test chip in one meeting where everybody involved in the program sort of puts in where they're at our weekly Friday meeting. Finally, we continue to make decent progress in the POC. One of the things we're looking at, Damien, is maybe demoing the POC, since we use an OCP 3.0 NIC to demo the POC at the summit in the NIC booth. Then we're also planning a storage acceleration workshop based on the POC. We're looking to gain software developers for the POC. So the last week of August, it's a 2-segment workshop, 4 hours on a Thursday and 3 hours on a Thursday and 3 hours on a Friday. The idea is to go off and gather software development efforts for the storage to use the POC for storage acceleration. And finally, Arthur from Cadence is beginning to draft a link layer spec, a chiplet link layer. So we've got Cadence, Synopsys, and a couple of other companies joining in the effort. So if you think you have somebody in your company who'd like to join the development of a link layer effort, please point them my way. That's it, John. Thank you.
Yeah, so Bapi, I would like to add 3 quick things.
Yes, sir.
So based on all the contributions which we have made through ODSA, we are planning for having a ODSA track at the summit. I think we have enough content to do a whole day track with multiple panels and talks. We are also looking at contributing the Mara POC, which is the second last bullet here, into OCP. So that's a work which we plan to do between now and November. And then on bringing the Mara board for demo, having that in a OCP NIC experience center could be an option, which we would like to explore. Thank you.
Yep, I'll be interested to work with both of you.
All right.
All right, thank you, Bappy. Next, we have up Alan with the HPC subproject update. Alan?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't have any slides to update, but I'll just give you a quick verbal update. So I think on the last time I spoke, I mentioned that we'd applied for Supercomputing 21 for a panel session. Unfortunately, we didn't get accepted for that one, but we are going to reapply for the Birds of a Feather. The panel sessions are more, I guess, competing, differing views in the panel. It's a panel discussion against different perspectives, whereas what we presented was more of a birds of a feather on what we're doing in the OCP high performance computing sub-project. So hopefully we'll get into that. We've also applied for the OCP Global Summit for a lightning presentation and panel session, where we'll go into give an overview of the concepts and have some deeper dives into the various technical aspects, where we're making some interesting radical sort of potential changes to the way the industry traditionally does some of these sort of thermal cooling in the power, etc. So we've applied for that. In terms of whilst I'm still on the subject of outreach, I actually gave a presentation at the International Conference on Supercomputing on the it was a RISC-V and Open Power workshop, where I presented on the topic of decoupling compute from memory storage and I/O with OMI, the Open Memory Interface. And so that was a blend of OMI, but we were using the OCP, HPC, the concepts that we're pulling together as the potential platform for that. And so I presented a number of slides on the concept there, including how we can reduce some critical channels. It's taking on board what the ODSA and what Bapi's just touched on there, what the ODSA has been focusing on from a chiplets perspective, but it's saying, can we make chiplets more pluggable and modular? Do we always have to put them on a substrate? And so it's looking at it similar to an extremely short reach channel in the order of a 5 to 10 dB channel, where we could reduce the power to a picojoule per bit-ish, between 1 and 2, but we could reach between an OAM type processor to an E3.S type module and the EDSFF module in about a 1 picojoule per bit budget is a target there. So that was a core piece of a presentation on decoupling compute from memory storage and I/O. And that I actually received, for me anyway, I received an awful lot of interest in that presentation. I think I'm approaching 300 views of the actual video recording itself, which, like I say, I'm normally in the low tens. So we seem to be getting a little bit of momentum on the specific topics. Boyd has helped out on looking at the thermal side of things, so they've done a quick review for me. Some of the experts in Boyd, Philippe helped me with that, and hopefully they'll be doing some more investigations, and Philippe will be one of the panelists. And also IBM have been helping out with the channel analysis of what I just mentioned, the shorter reach channel, of doing some signal integrity assessments of the channel there. So we're beginning to put a bit more meat on the 3D model concepts that I've pulled together, and that's really where we're at right now. The only other thing to mention is I did listen to the Experience Center discussion a few days ago, and there's a possibility, if we can get a sponsor in the group to help, so we can validly apply for an Experience Center table. We're thinking that if we build a 3D model building blocks, physical Lego type building blocks, and we can get people to come along to the booth and actually build their own domain-specific high-performance computer with their own mix of different accelerators and different memory and different storage and different I/O, then people will really get the true composability, physical composability, as well as more traditional software composability of this approach. So it's a blend of the power saving of chiplets with the disaggregated software composability of rack scale disaggregation. It's bringing those two together essentially. So steady progress. You know, small companies, we don't have a lot of resources, but we're steadily plodding along.
All right, thank you, Alan. And do you have any questions or comments for Alan? All right. Next on the agenda, I have a OCP general purpose enterprise server workstream discussion. I don't see Alan online. Is anybody here who can talk to that, or should we skip that update this month? All right, looks like we're going to skip that. So now the main presentation is going to be from Ampere Computing on the Mountain Jade presentation. I intended to have this on the wiki so you could review it along with the presentation, but that did not get on the wiki. It'll be up sometime today. Is it going to be Jayesh, Yoon, or Jackie presenting? Who wants to share their screen?
Please allow to change.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
Yeah, I can share.
Okay, you have control.
All right. Let me know when you can see this.
Yep, we can see it now.
Okay. One second. So I'm Jayesh Shah from Ampere. Along with me, I have Yoon, who is the architect, and Jackie from WeWin, who does product planning and architecture at WeWin. I'll be giving a brief overview of Mount Jade, which is a ARM64 two-socket server. And our intention is to contribute this from a specification, from a design file, and also from a OpenBMC and Tiana Core perspective to OCP. So Mount Jade is a two-socket server. It's meant for a 19-inch standard rack in both 1U and 2U chassis. It supports DDR4, PCIe Gen 4, and uses the CRPS power supplies. And over the next few weeks, we'll be uploading the specification to the wiki for review. So high-level overview, the layout is a spread core where the processors are not shadowed. There is an interconnect between the two processors and 128 lanes coming out of the processor. There's a high-level block diagram, which I won't go into the detail, but primarily we've connected them to sliver connectors so that they can be cabled either to the front for NVMe drives, SSD drives, and then or to risers for PCIe. And similar to other servers out there in the x86 world, it has a BMC, AST 2500, manageability support, bunch of risers and configurations, and from a backplane perspective, a number of different backplanes available in 1U and 2U. So at a high level, it should sort of look familiar to a lot of folk out there. Our goal with sharing the spec, sharing the design files is to, again, drive more awareness into what Ampere's been doing and what's available in terms of design out there. Any questions on this slide? Okay. Some additional pretty pictures around how placement's done. We have the power supplies on each end of the chassis wall. the processors, processor CPU 0, CPU 1. I mentioned a number of sliver connectors that can either be cabled to the front or to the risers. We have 4 riser cards or 4 riser cards that are possible. I'll go to the next slide and show you. So in a 1U, I think it's risers 1, 2, and 4. And then in the 2U, we have risers 1, 2, and 3. This is just showing it supports OCP 3.0. In this version, we don't have multi-host support, but we have other multi-host is possible, but this reference design or this design, when we submit it, won't show multi-host connectivity. Again, another picture of the 1U with options for the risers are shown in here, and goes into a standard 19-inch 1U chassis. Similarly, for 2U, we have both 1U and 2U heat sinks that we've enabled as a reference as well, and ability to have a number of add-in cards via risers, whether it's 3 in, I think that's riser 1, a 3 in riser 2, and then 2 in riser 4. And then I want to highlight that Ampere's already made open source contribution. It's available on GitHub. And so based on this platform, folks can download the OpenBMC firmware, and it will run on Mountain Jade. And then similarly with Tiano Core, with the EDK2 wrapper, we've also released that. And Mountain Jade will be available through Weavin, who's been our partner, and it should go into production next month. And over the next couple of months, we'll be submitting the spec, the design, packaging up the OpenBMC firmware and the BIOS portion, and submitting that to OCP. Whoops. On the last slide, just highlighting, summarizing the offerings that we have, which is this design that we'll be sharing is available as a product in a 1U. It is available in 2 SKUs and in a 2U. That's all I have.
Jayesh, is there a base specification that allows flexibility of choice for multiple designs, or do you only have a design spec?
So from a base specification perspective, we'll provide a high-level guidance on what that specification is, given we're just starting out. There are going to be limited choices, but there is a base specification that we'll provide where folks can relatively easily either get an off-the-shelf chassis to drop this in if they wanted to. So there is a supplier, at least one supplier that's available as far as off-the-shelf chassis for a design like this, if someone wanted to make a 2-socket spread core board.
And where do you intend to have the BMC and root of trust chips?
The BMC will be down. This doesn't have a root of trust. So in this generation, we haven't implemented something like a DCSCM just because this is already going into production. So from an intercept timeline, that wasn't possible.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you.
John, if you're speaking, you're on mute.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Sorry about that. Next up, we have the OCP Foundation and Incubation Committee update. I'll let Gia and Simac tag team on this one. I know we've already done the IC announcement. I'm not sure what other business they have to discuss. Oh, maybe someone there is talking on mute too. So, but they have finished the spec templates and supply requirements. Those are both online at the OSP website and should be used for any new submissions. I don't know if there's any other IC updates.
There's no other IC updates that I know of, John. Just a reminder that, first of all, thank you to everyone that submitted abstracts to the OCP Global Summit coming up on November 9th and 10th. We will have some disposition of the abstracts by August 18th. So all of you that submitted, all of the speakers and the submitters will be informed by August 18th whether your abstract was accepted and is moving to the next phase, or whether the reasons why it was not accepted. So, or whether you're on a wait list. So we're working through all of the project leads. The server group had over 60 submissions, and that includes all of the sub-project groups. So that includes the NIC, the ODSA, the HPC, and the OAM. So it was quite a lot of abstracts, and the project leads will be going through it one by one and deciding, how they want to proceed with each abstract. So just a brief update on that. I do know that registration will open on August 2nd for early bird, for those that know they can make it, and for those that can't, obviously, we will wait and see. As of right now, we are still proceeding with a hybrid summit, which basically means that we will have the in-person summit in San Jose, California, at the convention center, and there will be a virtual element of the summit for those that cannot travel. So that's all I have, John.
All right, thank you. Next, we have interparty communication. I know there's a number of people who are very interested in the DCSEM 2.0 work that's being hosted over the hardware management project on the hardware management module subgroup. I know there have been some meetings going over pinouts and stuff, trying to get a DCSEM 2.0 moving forward. Does anybody on the call have any additional updates for the DCSEM workstream?
So John, this is John. The chair of that workstream submits a written status. Does she not send that to you also?
No, I don't believe so.
If not, I would just have her send a link to you, because that's normally what we do in the hardware management project.
Okay. Good enough.
Just to perhaps maybe as a way of advertisement, we're encouraging everybody who is working on DCSCM and systems around that to target OCP Summit in November as a kind of a coming out party and tell everybody, say what we are doing. So look for some work in progress kind of workshops on what DCSCM 1.0 was and 2.0 is going to be, and system around it and integrated system and such. So hopefully we can collaborate on that as well.
Yes. Also interested in work that's being done over in the Rack and Power ACS immersion sub-project. Anybody have any updates on what's going on over there? I don't typically get a chance to attend those calls, so I don't have any updates. All right. Well, that's all I have on the agenda. We've got a few minutes left. If anybody has anything else they'd like to discuss before we close the call, we have a few minutes. Going once?
Hey, so this is Sailaja. So Jayesh, can you send your deck, the one you presented to me, please?
Yeah, Sailaja, I'm getting ready to forward that to you. I sent it to your OCP email. I know you're having problems getting those checked. I'll forward it to your Microsoft email.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you were copied on those.
Oh, okay, thanks.
All right. If that's all, I'd like to thank everyone for attending the July OCP server project meeting, and we'll talk to everyone next month.
Thank you, John, Sailaja.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Team CMAC.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. Bye.